Welcome back to the third and final part of my very first epoxy experiment, the one that, as you may remember, almost caught fire and nearly destroyed all the work I had done so far. Luckily, it didn't come to that. The plastic details I had placed on the diorama did sink a little, but nothing too dramatic. What was supposed to be a calm, glassy lake surface turned instead into a foamy, raging mess of water, and then froze that way. So now I found myself attempting something we in Estonian like to describe with a saying that means, trying to turn, well, manure into cake. I've already ordered the AK still water effect and I'm just waiting for the previous medium to dry properly. In the meantime, I packed the sides of the diorama with regular construction putty, getting it ready for its outside finish. I tinted the remaining water effect medium to a brownish red and also finished off the so-called water cutting side. I had a black colored base, then I used PVA glue, and I sprinkled some black soil from my diorama materials straight from the jar. After the resin had hardened, an unexpected texture appeared across the cross-section of the ground. It suddenly gave me the idea to use it as a base for showing different layers of soil, the kind that form under various natural conditions. And as you know, those layers can be surprisingly colorful. Right beneath the waterline I added a muddy, dark layer, as if formed from fresh, decaying plants. Below that comes a band of gray clay, the kind that holds the water in place. Underneath lies a reddish layer rich in iron oxide, and finally, a deeper, darker mineral soil. Finally, once my earlier attempt at calming the water surface had fully dried, a package arrived with exactly what I needed, AK still water effect. I carefully began applying it to the lake's surface, keeping my fingers crossed that this time it would work. The medium dried slowly, but the thinner areas that had already cleared up gave me plenty of hope. Meanwhile, I tried placing the figures back into the scene, the ones that were meant to be there in the end, as if, after the storm, the villagers had gathered once more to go about their everyday lives. Then one morning came another shock. The deeper areas had cracked during drying, leaving the surface looking like fractures in thick ice. This was a clear reminder that with this medium, you simply cannot rush. Each layer needs to be poured thin and left to dry slowly. Otherwise, the layers cure unevenly, with the lower ones still soft while the top hardens, and that's exactly how these cracks appear. But I didn't give up. I kept pouring new layers, trying to slowly build up the water's surface. At the same time, I had to wrestle with the uneven edges of my diorama. I trusted that duct tape would hold everything in place, but the resin still found little ways to escape before it cured. Pro tip: always keep newspapers underneath, so nothing runs where it shouldn't. After a long battle, at first, I was taking some photos indoors, but soon realized that the natural light outside would bring out the scene much better. So, on a crisp February morning, I headed to the countryside to capture the diorama in its full glory. So, dear viewers, from here on, you'll get to see the completed diorama. This model also competed in the Diorama category at Minimalum 2025. However, with such strong and masterful competition this year, it didn't take home an award. And that's fine, my win coming the experience of making it was incredibly valuable. I learned to use new techniques and materials, experimented with steps I came up with myself, like combining 3D pen work with paper. And the result has only sparked new ideas for future projects. So, thank you, dear viewers, and thumbs up. I hope you found some inspiration for your own diorama creations. Boldness earns success. Thank you again, and remember, stay positive and love what you do.